Hi, this is Natalie Rydstrom from SBR Picks. Now, domestic football is taking a break whilst players focus on their international duties. So this gives us a chance to reflect on news that's hitting the headlines this week and how they may or may not affect the odds. Joining us now to lead the discussion is William Hill's betting pundit and all-round football fan, Lee Phelps. Lee, welcome to the show today.
Hi, Natalie. You're right.
Good, thank you. Well, first headline making its rounds is the Rooney rule. Can you tell me more about it, please?
Yeah, obviously it kind of came from the NFL, where the basic idea behind it is the NFL obviously wanted to get more ethnic minority coaches into the game, and so the basic idea is that there must be at least one candidate from a certain background where you want to obviously increase the number of people from that background in the job, and it doesn't have to apply to sport. You get this kind of thing in politics as well. I know the Conservative Party did it in Britain a little while ago, and the Labour Party followed suit to get more women into Parliament here. So it's that kind of idea, and it's come about because obviously there simply aren't enough. I mean, I suppose it's mainly concentrated around black managers in the English football game. You see how many black players there are in the English game and how fantastic they are, and what a huge percentage of the actual playing staff they take up in the Premier League and the Football League as a whole. Why aren't there as many black managers? We have 2 at the moment. It seems ludicrous. So I guess that's where it's come from. There's been this conversation going on for a while, and it just seems to have hit the headlines recently because it was supposed to be introduced at a meeting recently, and there was no real mention of it. So understandably, people started to ask questions, and rightly so. If it helps, then what's the problem?
But the question is do you think that black people are being discriminated against? I saw a post-match press conference with Jose Mourinho where he simply said, if they're good, whoever is good for the job gets the job. Do you think that football would discriminate?
Well, I mean, I guess my opinion is probably pretty irrelevant, but you look at the head of the PFA saying that he thinks there is a general, almost behind the scenes. There's something there. There's something hidden that stops this process happening properly. You speak to former black players who've been in the game for a long, long time, 18-year careers, 20-year careers, have done every single coaching license they can possibly do. They've got every qualification that it's possible to have been sending CV after CV after CV, 30 CVs sent in, 2 interviews. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make sense, does it? They're playing the game their whole life. They've got every coaching qualification you could possibly get. Send out 30 CVs and you only get 2 interviews. I mean, just if you did that, Natalie, in your work, you'd be a little bit like, why have I only got 2 interviews? Yeah. I've sent out 30 CVs. I'm qualified for all these jobs. So I guess that's where it's come from. Why aren't there as many? Now, there is a flip side to this, and one reason why it might not work as well in football in the UK as it works in the NFL. In the NFL, if a club is looking for a coach, then they have an interview process. They will put out people will send in their CVs, their resumes, and there will be a system where they're shortlisted, and then the interviews will take place. Well, in football, it doesn't always work like that, does it? You look at Crystal Palace, for instance. When Tony Pulis left, they didn't open it up for people to send the CVs in. The owner or the chairman will maybe have an idea of who they want to go and get, so they go and talk to those people. He went to talk to Tim Sherwood, for instance, and Malcolm McCann, and that didn't work out, obviously. And then he goes to talk to someone else. In football, a lot of it's done through, I know this guy, he worked really well at a division that I was working at the time, and I know his mate, I know this, and it's kind of who you know rather than a full interview process. So it might not work anyway. I think what would happen is that the lower league clubs, say your League 2 clubs, who do tend to do interview processes, then maybe it would start to work there, and you'd have to wait maybe even a generation for the black managers to be able to work their way through the divisions. Mm-hmm. I don't think many Premier League clubs open it up to CVs being sent in. That's not how it works in the world of football. So even if we introduced it, I'm not sure it'd have that much of an effect. But my opinion is, why not introduce it? What harm can it possibly do?
Right. And why has it surfaced now, and what, if anything, does it mean for football?
I think it surfaced because, as I was saying, that there's been a recent meeting of the FA, and it wasn't brought up when everyone was expecting it to be brought up as part of the meeting. It wasn't brought up, so the question marks hang over that meeting, and people were asking where's it gone? Why has it gone off the agenda? And so that's why it's been brought up again. And obviously, anything to do with race, anything to do with discrimination is a hot topic in the world of news. So in this age of 24-hour news on the TV and the radio, it's something that, the media really latch onto, and rightly so as well in these certain cases where, it needs to be brought to light. Football is such a huge part of the social makeup of Britain and England that I think it does need addressing. Why is this discrepancy between the amount of football fans who may be black and football players who are black compared to the people who are actually in the administration? We've seen from the NFL that it did work. It's brought up the levels of ethnic minority coaching up to, I think it's 12.5%. Well, the actual percentage of the population is 12.4%, so it's worked pretty perfectly in the NFL. It'd be interesting to see if it works in soccer in England. It's debatable, but why not give it a try?
The SBR network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.